communication that is bereft of language, time, age, zone, or whatever, right? You become hooked on music before you even know it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's food for the soul. So before you knew it, Lucifer started thinking that he was bigger than God. The guy who brought him into power, he tried to overthrow God himself, right? I think this is what happens with musicianship, right? Is that so much adulation. You have 4 million followers. Everything you say is golden. How will they not forget that one day they were nobodies? So you must also understand with them that it's not also fair on them. It's beyond them in a sense. But that's why the laws need to be enforced to help them calm down, right? And when the law is enforced, you as a label owner, you're held to a higher duty of care. You as a musician, you're held to a higher duty of care. And that is when investors will come and bring the big money to blow up our economy. And that's what we need right now. Unless we can show a clear enforcement and respect for the laws, like you said, we're not going to get the investments that we need.
I have a suggestion, and I'm going to say this here. I don't care whoever wants to. Now, this was a suggestion I came up with. I said, you know, in America, when a label is signing you, they're giving you a loan. They're giving you a sign-on fee, right?
Yeah.
So I think that should be introduced in Nigeria, and it should be through this way.
Okay.
I go to a bank, I take my record label, deposit. No. Just listen to what I'm saying now.
I love it. Okay, go.
I'll take my record label.
Okay.
Right? Take the company documents, everything to the bank. Place it with the bank. Tell the bank, or we get where through an SPV, the bank buys a percentage of the record label.
Okay.
And the bank becomes the borrowing entity of the money for investment. Good. Listen to where I'm going to. Because you see, this thing has made us think. I've been thinking.
Okay, yeah, go. Listen.
So the bank becomes the borrowing entity for the loan. Now, the bank, the record label and the SPV, right? Or the record label and whatever company that the bank has appointed, we go together and take a loan from the bank.
Okay.
So whenever the artist wants to shoot a video, the artist also signs the loan document. Hold on. No, this is no joke. Just listen to this. I'm coming on. Just listen to where I'm coming from.
You're killing me right here, man. No, I'm feeling you, by the way. I'm feeling you. Just go on. You know why I'm laughing? It's how much detail to thought you're putting into this thing. That's amazing.
See, Audu, don't worry. See, I've been thinking about this thing for years. So what we do is the bank now becomes the borrowing entity because one of their major obligation is to borrow and to keep funds, right? The bank becomes the borrowing entity, gives the record label the money. If the record label wants to sign shoot a video or promote an artist, the artist will carry his bag and come to the bank, sit down there, put his pen, his signature on the loan document, knowing that this money is borrowed from the bank, and if it's not, it's okay if you fail in your career for 5 years or 10 years and you can go. But if you succeed and you leave this contract, there's a problem. So now, listen to this structure, right?
Okay.
So the bank now, the money that is being spent on you is a loan, and you know that this loan came from a bank. You already know it. Knowing that the day you leave, or you want to leave the record label when your contract is not over, right? What will happen to you? The bank will come for you. So now is the bank enforcing. The bank will arrest Audu, arrest Ubi, then arrest the artist. You all be in jail dancing. You understand? So once you're in jail dancing, you'll be the one say, Babamo, go perform music. No, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, for example. So
oh my God.
I'm serious because now somebody just asked who pays the bank. So let me tell you how the bank gets paid. I'll take my money and give it to the bank and tell the bank, borrow this money to my company. So it's my money. I've given it to the bank. Right? I'm telling the bank, borrow this money to. So what we are doing now is
so you refinance it.
Yes. So I refinance the company through a bank. It's simple. So what do I need to do? I go to the bank, say, bank, this guy, his name is so. Okay, let me use a name. Let me use Akin Alabi. Okay. He's my artist, for example. I take Akin Alabi to the bank. I say, bank, this is my money. I've given it to you. It's no more my money as far as it has entered your account. You know that you can use money to secure a loan, right? So you take the money and say, okay, this is the money I've given to you. So now, since you have my money, right? Reinvest this money into this company with this artist, right? Being part of the people taking the loan. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? I might be wrong, I might be right. Yeah. So reinvest this money into the artist taking the loan. Because this is a part of the structure that we need to build, because nobody wants to spend money in our Nigerian entertainment industry. Investors are running away. How come we have the biggest artists in Africa? Afrobeat is everywhere in America, and banks will still not give you a loan. If you don't have a collateral, banks won't give you a loan. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But you know what? And you know what? What you've said actually is quite brilliant. And the truth is that at that point in time, you'll know who is serious about their career and who is not.
Yeah, if you're not serious,
because
you go
many
out.
of them, one of them won't do it. And you know, I was in a Glow one time with a bunch of artists, A-list artists, by the way, and we're waiting to do something to collect money for something, you know. So I just maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw a couple of ex-artists who had been signed to record labels, and they were talking, and I overheard them saying, man, it's not easy. This guy charged me such and such and such a video. Man, I need to look for that money, because they're out of the record label deal. And I just overheard them, and I could see how much strain they're going through, because when I know how much the videos they used to shoot when they were in record labels, I know how much they spent on them. And now you're complaining about almost half the price that the label is doing, right? Because even in negotiating the cost of your video, if you're a smart artist, what you should do is go and get the cheapest video you can get, because you're going to pay back that money regardless. People don't understand that in record business, it is recoupable, but not repayable. There's a big difference. Because when it's recoupable, it means that you will have to pay, no matter how long it takes, from the earnings that you make. Yeah. When it's repayable, it means that there's a certain time frame within which you must pay. Now, the way the music industry is going to now is that with internet, with Instagram and things like this, people believe that they don't really need that structure. It works internationally. It might not work locally yet, because we don't have the local infrastructure to sell the records that we're talking about. That's the truth about it, you know. So if you're thinking about, if you own a record label today, you're looking at this, you're looking at streaming income, right? Or you're looking at streaming income, or you're looking at where the revenues are coming out from. The revenues from streaming today is coming from the US and the UK. It's not from Africa. It's not from South Africa. It's definitely not from Lagos. It's definitely not from Nigeria. So it means that you need to be in a space whereby you are now selling your music locally. Now look at where the streams of income are going to. It's live music, right? You go to a show, they give you 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. You jump, you come back, you're popping champagne. Right now, for the next year or so, mark my words, it's going to be virtually impossible for people to gather on those huge numbers again. And notice that most of that revenue is coming from international. In the US, they've postponed all their major shows to this time till fourth quarter of next year, because nobody wants to die just to go to a concert. So the truth is that anybody that's investing in music at this time is taking a huge risk, and the returns are not huge, because if your streaming revenue is dependent on the US, the question is this: if you're an American citizen or a UK citizen, wouldn't you listen first to Stormzy before you listen to Davido, with all due respect? You would, because it's a cultural issue. It's more of what you're hearing all the time that relates with you. So you're absolutely right. But one of the things that I find that is actually quite worrisome too is that on the label side, we have this forgiving church spirit, right? I know that labels are messing up as well, no doubt. I've seen record contracts, I'm like, wow, because obviously I represent artists as a lawyer, separated from all these things that I do. But I think that the biggest thing here is a lack of education. And you know what? This talk that we're doing, if you go and say you're doing a music contracts 101 today, Do you know who's going to attend? The artists that don't have anything. None of the A-list artists will attend, right? None of them will even bother themselves, because at the end of the day, they'll just think that, oh, well, you know, I'm making money right now. It doesn't matter. But watch 4-5 years when they have no hits, when there's no song on the radio. That's when you start seeing them humbling themselves. They come back to themselves. They now start attending conferences. They don't want to join P-Man and Kuson thereafter. And it's a wrong thing. So my word to anybody who's doing music